Today I'm at Omaha Beach, where on June 6, 1944, American and Allied soldiers landed right on these beaches as a part of the largest amphibious invasion in history. On June 6, 1944, the 1st and 29th U.S. Infantry Divisions were responsible for establishing a bridgehead here at Omaha Beach. The 4-mile-long beach had been divided into 3 large sectors, codenamed from west to east: Dog facing Vierville, Easy facing St. Laurent, and Fox facing Colville. The Germans had fortified the cliff with concrete bunkers, installed numerous obstacles on the beach, and built anti-tank ditches and walls at the entrances to the valleys leading to the 3 villages. The GIs, who had been landing here since 6:30 a.m., had to take cover from German fire, first behind the pebble bank, then at the foot of the cliffs on either side of the small valley. Finally, between 8 a.m. and 9 a.m., several groups succeeded in scaling the cliffs and managed to regroup on the plateau. After a fierce battle, the village of St. Laurent was liberated on 7th June at around 9 a.m. From Russell Stover, 116th Infantry Regiment, U.S. 29th Infantry Division. The ramp went down and we leaped out into waist-deep water in 3-foot waves. Some lost their footing, some their weapons. We had more than 200 yards to go to the high water mark. Some engineers were working to our left. There was only one tank ahead and to the left, but it wasn't firing or moving. There were no instant foxholes either. There wasn't one crater for cover. There wasn't even one duplex-drive amphibious truck with artillery firing on the machine gun placements on top of the bluffs. No Piper Cubs overhead to direct the naval fire. It was very obvious to me that many plans were going wrong. There was a boat burning to our right, heading back out. We waded through the surf and floating debris. I looked back and saw that we were in good formation, well spread out, just as we had practiced dozens of times before. Reaching the sand, I tried to run, but found it was very difficult. My impregnated pant legs were filled with water. The extra weight took its toll, and about halfway in I fell to the sand exhausted. I thanked the good Lord for the smoke that still covered the bluffs. A shell had started a grass fire. If not for that smoke, we would not have made it in. Recovering, I started running again. The man to my right didn't follow. I think he was our first casualty. This is from Captain Joseph T. Dawson, 16th Infantry Regiment, U.S. 1st Infantry Division. The beach was a total chaos, with men's bodies everywhere, with wounded men crying, both in the water and on the shingle. We landed at high tide when the water was right up to the shoreline, which was marked by a sharp-edged, crystalline sand, like gravel, but very, very sharp. That was the only defilade which was present on the beach to get any protection from the fire above. That was where all the men who had landed earlier were present, except for a handful who had made their way forward, most of them being killed. The beach sounded like a beehive with the bullets flying around. You could hear them hit, and you could hear them pass through the air. The Germans under Field Marshal Erwin Rommel built defenses to protect this enclosed battlefield. The waters and beach were heavily mined, and there were 13 strong points called resistance nests. Numerous other fighting positions dotted the area, supported by an extensive trench system. The defended forces consisted of 3 battalions of the veteran 352nd Infantry Division. Their weapons were fixed to cover the beach with grazing enfilade fire, as well as plunging fire from the cliffs. Omaha was a killing zone. So I'm reading an excerpt from a German soldier that was stationed here at Omaha Beach that was defending the beach from the American invasion, from Grenadier Heinrich Runder. And this is going to be his reaction on seeing the armada that was at the horizon behind me. A vast number of ships, absolutely vast. I can tell you that my throat went dry, painfully dry, and my hands began to shake. I wasn't the only man to be affected that way. One of them, very young lads, began to retch as if he was going to be sick. It was the effect of pure fear. Another excerpt from Grenadier Heinrich Runder, and he's describing when the battle turned in favor towards the Americans. I saw several of our troops running towards me from the direction of the beach. One by one, they were hit by bullets, knocking them down. One man was hit horribly in the head, and he lost most of his skull. Another man was hit in the stomach and writhed on the ground, thrashing his legs and vomiting. 2 men threw themselves down next to me, and one was immediately hit in the neck and had his head partially severed. I fired a very long burst in an arc around the whole front of me. So we just discovered what I think is an old German machine gun nest overlooking Omaha Beach. Pretty cool. From Captain Edward W. McGregor, U.S. 1st Infantry Division. We hit the sand and found ourselves behind the bodies of the amphibious engineers, who had taken a terrible beating. Eventually, we started moving up a draw where some engineers had been, and which was marked with tape. We had several casualties, and I know at least one officer right near me was killed, stepping on a mine. We came up to the top of a ridge and tried to advance a bit, but there was a large German bunker in front of us, and its machine gun fire hit us every time we tried to move. At this point, we didn't have any communication with the American destroyer behind us, because within 5 minutes of landing on the beach, the naval ensign officer had been killed, his driver too, and the radio set destroyed by a shell, which was landed right on top of them. So we planned an assault against the bunker. I volunteered to take some troops with me, but before we could organize, there were huge demolitions around the bunker. An American destroyer had moved in and was firing direct with 4-inch guns into the bunker. So I'm in a German bunker overlooking Omaha Beach. I'm gonna read another excerpt from German Grenadier Heinrich Runder, and he's describing his experience during a rocket barrage during D-Day. These rockets exploded when they landed and threw out a liquid which detonated with a very bright red flame. There was a very strong smell of burning tar and rubber, and one of them exploded right there at the end of my trench. The next few minutes were complete hell and chaos. The liquid was sickening in the way it worked. It was some kind of gasoline fuel mixture with rubber on nylon or something like that. It stuck to everything like glue, to uniforms, to skin, to hair. Many of our men were completely on fire, and one by one they fell to their knees and gave up their struggle or just fell back into the flames and disappeared from sight. You just walk right into these bunkers overlooking Omaha Beach. It's wild.